That's the song that we use at the front.
We have an intro now.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep...
Holy shit.
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out how
Can we get that? Can we get like a big band intro?
If you want to
like with like orchestral hits and everything.
But in the basement. In the corner.
No, but like we pretend that it's there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're like, damn, they played something new today.
Like we have our version of the Roots, but we never show them. We just, we allude to them. No.
We have someone animate them. They're like the gorillas.
But like got it.
Really bad.
Like a 3D animated 9-piece orchestrated band. Sounds great. We're on a roll here.
Woo! Welcome, guys.
Welcome to the Joystick Show.
Honestly.
Episode 47.
Yeah, because we're 2 away from 49.
Yeah.
Which is the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be 52, but no. we had a little slip up.
We remember.
COVID and snowstorms. That's how it be.
Yeah, that was bad luck. Real bad luck.
Yeah.
Lonely time.
Definitely.
Didn't see my boy.
I know, but we made it through.
Yeah.
And it's just dawning on me now the consistency of it all. It's just kind of like damn, like.
And it just keeps going
47 times.
Because then it's clockwork. It's still work, but it's a lot easier when there's like a format and like one of the hardest things is like starting something new because it's like it has to be an established thing to make it like streamlined and to make it as good as possible.
Well, first off, if you noticed on the let's start it off how I said I'm gonna be. I can't even speak in true fucking Bobby fashion. But
Bobby
anyway,
flubbing his words once again.
I'm gonna start the podcast like I said previously, how I would, and so on and so forth. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And make sure to do all that goodness.
We'll tell you to comment something, but not until later. Yeah. And that's how we know. That's how we know you watch.
Right.
We told you to comment something, and you commented something completely different. Thanks for the comment. But it wasn't fucking right.
Damn, the harshness of it.
Like, it's fine if you're going to watch it. Well, a good thing, though, is that now the Joystick Show has chapters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah,
nice.
which you can now click and choose what you want to see.
Check that shit out. Look, like right there. How's that insane? Right now, you're probably right. I don't know how it works. Fuck. You're like here somewhere.
Yeah. But you're gonna get over there at one point.
Also, you guys can't
or you're watching on your TV and it's just completely useless. You're just fucking that, right?
Yeah, the timeline. No, I was gonna say what's also kind of cool is you guys can't see it, but we have like a new monitor now, which we've had for a really long time. It's just I've been lazy and I haven't bought the stuff to connect it.
We haven't
but
used it.
It's all fancy.
It looks mad good.
I'm like for the first time, this place kind of looks like a little studio. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
I feel like in the future when we like rent this out to like other lower amateur
we have
podcasters.
The better spot.
Like, and everyone like comes into the they come into the basement and they're like, ooh, they hit their head,
Yeah.
And then they come in and then they're just like, wow, like this is a studio.
Yeah.
And then like add more foam and then
the hope is that and we'll get to it later in the podcast too because we're actually going to save a little bit of time at the end to talk about future plans. So stay tuned for that. But the plan is to make this more of like a permanent space so that I no longer have to set up the Joystick Show again because that's so annoying.
Process.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, we'll still use this spot because, like, funny enough, we have, like, when my family comes over, they obviously sleep in the basement. We set up, like, a blow-up mattress and stuff like that. But it's just more in the sense of creating, like, a table or a space that's way easier to collapse, put together, so... Mm-hmm. That's the goal. That's the vibe. Also, shout out to the fact we have no lights on today, but figure we try something
good new, lighting.
Yeah. Figure we'll play around. We got lamps.
Oh yeah. I always thought every time we do this, I think those lights are gonna be too bright, and they're not.
LEDs, man.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're like nice. I can look into them and not die.
Mm-hmm. I want brighter.
It's not like the evil sun,
Yeah, weird. But anyway, what have you been up to, my man? Speaking of evil sun, I know you were frequenting the beach.
I've been to the beach like 5 straight days, I think.
Damn.
And as you see my skin tone, very little difference. A little better, but like not really.
Meanwhile, I went to Florida for like a week and I got brown real fast.
I don't it doesn't happen with me. It just doesn't. I think it's cuz I don't go for a long amount of time. Cuz if I go to the jeez, my man.
If I double up
we'll get there.
You're good. I might as well hydrate with you.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that was. So I've been frequenting the beach quite a bit, and if I go for like 6 hours or 7 hours, I will literally just turn into a tomato.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just crisp up right away.
That's not fun.
So I go like 3 hours, 4 hours, and that's better, but then I don't get tan and I don't get sunburn, which is good. But, after about 12 more trips, I will be slightly shade on the character select screen darker. There was some fighting at the beach almost.
What?
Yeah. First off, it sun showered, which is when it like.
Yeah, you mentioned it didn't rain at all by us.
Yeah, and it like in the radar, 20% chance of rain, and I'm on the beach and I'm just like, oh,
sure enough.
Yeah. It was like 5 minutes, so I just waited it out. But like people were like running. I'm like, dude, it's sunny. Okay. We're gonna be good.
I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
One might make me sound stupid.
Okay.
And the other one is just a personal question about you and the beach.
Okay.
So what should I go first with?
Both. Yeah. So like the main thing why I've been going to the beach is I've been trying to become an extrovert, right?
Okay. Well,
and like do more things.
Well, let's start with that. My question about you and the beach. Are you a beach person because you live near the beach and always have been? Or like if you moved somewhere else, would you still make the effort to go to the beach?
Yeah, it's hard. I would go less.
But you would still go. Got it.
Yeah, you'd make a good day out of it.
Because I'm sure if I lived across the street
you'd go to the beach, you take a shower, you get food.
Yeah, like if I lived that close, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go to the beach.
Yeah, or you hang out on the boardwalk, you get food, you buy this, you buy that. Yeah, it makes.
Is it popping like that in Rockaway? Really?
Yeah, like crowds of people,
That's
food.
Cool. Like places to get stuff and shit.
I mean, there's like Uber Eats is like there's like 80 places.
Dude, when am I gonna go like hang out with you?
Anytime. The thing is that the one time we chose a really shitty bar that like serviced the minors.
Was that the one we went to?
Yeah, for my birthday. Yeah, and it's like way overcrowded and it's like
that place was fucking packed.
Yeah, and it's like it's not that much of a vibe. But the thing is that all of the good bars in a beach town are only open for the summer.
One of like the only 10 pictures of the 5 of us was from that bar.
Yeah. You got to get us together. Honestly, I mean, if we ever go on a brocation or anything like that.
Which we're trying.
Yeah. But what are those questions about the beach? The other one.
Well, that was my first question was asking you if you were a beach person because of your
proximity. I really enjoyed it growing up. Like it was like my family was friends with like other families, and we'd go to the beach together. They'd be like, "Oh, where we go? 105," or "Oh, we're going here," and then everyone would just show up.
Yeah, we used to do that a couple times.
And it's like kids type of stuff,
But when I was a kid, I never really enjoyed the beach either. That's kind of inconsistent.
It's like messy and like the sand and shit.
My thing that I always tell people is like I hate spending long periods of time at the beach. Like I can't.
That's why I don't do more than like 3 or 4 hours.
Because like my dad can go to the beach for like a day and make it out of it, and I'm like, bro, like after 2 hours, I'm like, I kind of just want to go.
Like I do like an hour and a half, and then like I go in the water, I come back, I dry off, in the sun, and then you go, or you get food or something. Yeah.
But I can't be there all day.
There was a fight almost, not a fight, but at the beach there was some a little bit of beef going on.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Some stew.
Yeah, because there's a lot of kids at the beach on a weekend.
Mm-hmm. When you say kids, you mean young kids or teenagers?
Younger children, like younger than teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. So like 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, young people. And there's also some people that they don't want tan lines.
So there's a lot of boob on the beach.
Not that much because people are. But now I think the general rule is in like that area, and like you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But there was someone doing it, and someone said something.
Oof.
Yeah.
Said something about free the nip. You know.
Hey, like, and they were anti-free the nip.
Got it.
And by the way, if you are a man who is anti-free the nip, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, you really need some help. Go get it. I don't know what type of trauma or mental blockage you have.
I mean, I don't care. But I'm not also saying that because I want to see boob. It's just
no. That's definitely not the vibe. It's definitely more in terms of like a freedom thing. A lot of people say it's not a sexual organ.
But it's also hard to say that because people will automatically be like, you just want to see. Yeah.
The society will put us in this position, kind of. But it's like, if you're like, I don't know, but like just overall, it's like, how are you? Like, I get it if you have like kids, but even then, it's like that guy didn't have kids.
Yeah. He was just
he was a dude. It was like him and his wife, his wife was like, honey.
Oh my god.
What
a narc, bro.
It's
and like another thing is
the
like,
biggest narc.
And another thing is like, sure.
There's people literally. No, there was a guy with a full bong on the beach, like a 2-foot bong. You're gonna go after the fucking girl that's showing nip, and even then she's laying on her stomach.
Yeah.
For most of the time, you don't even see it. And by the way, what's wrong with you? As I say,
I was gonna say like free the nip stuff aside, it's the beach. Like if that's gonna happen anywhere, it's gonna happen at the beach,
and it's technically legal as long as it's not like harming the public.
Got it.
It's said, but it's like that's very subjective. It's like a cop could just be like, oh yeah, you're distracting these people and you're
cops
routing
think
them
everybody
up.
harms the public, you know.
Yeah, it's like no, guess I need a mirror.
My stupid question was when it says 20% chance of rain. That's like the chance of it raining. That's what that 20% means. Got it. Okay.
So, and normally how it works is that if it's above 50, it's gonna rain, and if it's below 50, it probably won't. But you also have to remember that you have to look up your specific neighborhood or region. Because what happens a lot is I like when I come here, I look up the weather here.
I just never knew specifically what those numbers meant.
Yeah, like I always look up the temperature here because it's about 6 to 8 degrees colder in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably warmer
windy.
here.
Yeah, it's a lot warmer anywhere else in Queens that's like not near the water, and just wind in general makes it lower. But that's good because you go to the beach and it's not 95 degrees. Yeah, it's like almost impossible.
Cool.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll be doing more shit to be an extrovert, you know. So I
was gonna say, really did I send you the video from Florida when I went a few weeks ago that there was a guy playing a tuba on the beach?
Yeah, you were sure. Yeah, one video. I wish there was more.
Full on tuba.
That's crazy. Hot.
Yeah, like, and it was hot out there. It was like 98 degrees, and this guy's walking around with like a fucking, I don't know how heavy tubas are.
They're surprisingly heavy.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. With his brass instruments.
And keep in mind, this wasn't somebody like on a stage. He was just walking up and down the beach with a tube, like, doing requests.
What do you want to do? Post Malone?
What have I been up to, man?
Yeah, what have you been doing? You watched, didn't you watch a movie 3 times?
I did, and that'll be a good way to segue into something where we're going to be talking apparently to the sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned last week that I saw Black Widow, and then this past week I saw it 2 more times. So I've seen Black Widow in theater 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was a stressful one.
Oh, no.
No, it wasn't stressful. It's just...
You didn't want to see the movie 3 times? Because, by the way, once I watch a movie, I'm good for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Like, my bar is filled forever. Like, in Sims, it's like my movie meter is complete, and it won't ever go down.
I was going to say, like, I think what's interesting is because I saw the movie 3 times back to back to back, my interpretations very quickly went from being, like, the MCU is back! This is awesome! To, like, I didn't really need to watch that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I believe that.
So yeah, I mean,
and as someone who's like not completely into the MCU, I feel like that would kill me.
So real quick,
watching it 3 times.
Do you mind if Bobby goes into his quick Bobby movie review segment? Yeah. You know, whatever the yeah, whatever that.
Yeah, you get a little thing at the bottom.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Black Widow.
Yes.
Very strange. So you haven't seen it, right?
No. I have no plan.
And I
have no intention of seeing it.
And I was about to say, I know you don't mind if I speak about it. And keep in mind, this will be spoilers for Black Widow. If you don't want Black Widow to be spoiled.
Bob, you gotta
chapters, motherfucker.
You gotta animate another graphic.
No, I don't. I just pointed.
Like red urgent sign. Spoiler, don't get mad.
Just skip to the next chapter where we're gonna probably talk about
who watches
something
has seen
else.
It.
Yeah, right. But anyways, regardless. Yeah, Black Widow. It was good, not great. I think its biggest, I don't want to say necessarily flaw, but I think its biggest like weird thing about it was it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So it's not, and this is
not after.
This is technically spoiler alert for like Endgame and shit, but she is dead. She dies in Endgame.
Yeah, she died. I mean, I've seen Endgame, so that's easy.
The plot of this movie obviously doesn't take place after Endgame because she's dead. It takes place before.
How early before?
Specifically, it takes place right after the events of Civil War.
Okay,
so have you seen Civil War?
Yes, I have.
You know where the big airport fight where they first introduced Spider-Man, it's like all the heroes are fighting against each other. At the very end, Black Panther is running to stop one of the guys, and then Black Widow turns on Black Panther and shoots him and stuns him, whatever. She becomes a fugitive for going against the government, and then this story takes place right after that. So she's on the run. Yeah.
So concept-wise, that's good.
Yeah.
Concept-wise, that's solid.
You're essentially getting to see what she was doing between that and when she reappears again in Infinity War from being like on the lam. But the point is like since it's a prequel, it's just a little weird watching a movie in Phase 4 that doesn't really set anything up more so.
Yeah.
And
because that's the one thing I've noticed watching MCU things recently is that everything usually sets up another thing, or it's like you see it and you're like, oh, that's coming.
And when we speak about Loki briefly, we're going to talk about how that really just fucking opened a gigantic hole for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, Black Widow didn't do that much. In fact, you would, not to cut you off, but in fact, you would want a movie to do that more. What do you mean?
Like, you would want a movie to have more of an impact on the universe than a TV show.
Yeah, right? It makes more sense.
Without a doubt, especially because it's like a blockbuster. That's kind of Marvel's thing.
But I was going to say, funny enough, despite the fact that it's like pretty much the exact opposite from Loki in the sense that it doesn't further anything, the only real part besides the fact that this movie does introduce like new characters that could eventually resurface, the only part of the movie that directly sets up future events is the post-credit scene.
Okay.
So that's the only part, just a little 1 to 2 minute post-credit scene. That's it. And we'll get to that later soon.
Okay.
Towards the end of the wrap-up. But just like, again, the fact that you're not watching anything new, the fact that you're watching a character who you're not going to see again is weird. And I think that's the main part. It feels kind of too little too late. I don't know what it is. We've had Black Widow for so long.
You should have done a movie earlier.
She's a really awesome character. And then finally we get her movie, but it's like after she's dead. Yeah. And, now we can't have any more of her. It's just a really weird kind of thing.
And then you would have to set it up in a way where this is like the last goodbye. Yeah. You know what I mean? Jerry, like this is like the last pivotal moment before she like dies in Endgame.
Yeah. Jerry, who I saw with the third time, the last time I went, which was like 2 days ago, made a really interesting point that unfortunately I have to agree with. There's a lot of points in the movie where it doesn't really even feel like what.
I was going to point to Jerry.
My man. He was supposed to be here, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Rip. But no, Jerry made a really good point. He basically said like there were a lot of points in the movie that kind of felt like it wasn't even Black Widow. Like it wasn't even a Marvel movie. It just felt like you could have picked any woman. It could have just been any generic female-led spy movie. You know what I meant?
Oh, it wasn't like superpower heavy.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
okay, I wouldn't mind that.
Tying into another review from someone who I really like, who reviews stuff on YouTube, who pretty much harshly reviewed it, but he brought up an interesting point, which at first, keep in mind, this was after I watched it the second time. So then I watched the review and I was like, I think he's being too harsh. And then I watched it the third time and I was like, I see what he means now. And he's kind of right. The Marvel universe, you just expect a lot more out of it now. Because, fucking anything is possible now. You have wizards and aliens.
You have every actor wanting to work for you.
So it just makes like series and movies like Black Widow where you have like, for a less better, I can't find a better word for it, but like just regular humans, running around in what feels like a Jason Bourne movie with some, a little bit over the top elements. You expect a little more, especially in Phase 4. That being said, like I did enjoy to see a Marvel movie back on the big screen a lot. There were some things I really liked about it. Like, what's funny enough is despite the fact that it's Black Widow, it focuses heavily on a lot of the side characters, specifically her sister.
Interesting.
Her sister's name is Yelena. Okay. And I've heard from multiple sources and leaks that apparently they're setting her up to be kind of like the new Black Widow.
Oh, interesting.
They're trained in the same program. They're technically both Black Widows, but she could be like the next Avenger Black Widow, essentially.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool.
And she's honestly, I was talking to Jerry, and I said to multiple people, she's got to be one of, if not my favorite addition so far in Phase 4. Out of all the characters, like, from all the shows, she's number 1 or number 2 for me. She's really funny. She's kind of like Black Widow if she was just more like sarcastic.
Okay, I mean that would work too. That you should be going for more of that vibe. Yeah, I think.
So especially for movies. Love her. She's awesome. She's played by Florence Pugh. So that was really cool. Pugh. I like David Harbour's character of the Red Guardian. I thought he was pretty cool, even though some people bashed his Russian accent. I didn't think it was that bad, but point is I liked a lot of the side characters they introduced.
Get a Russian guy then, if you.
That's pretty much all I have to say. The last thing I was going to tell you was just the post-credit scene. You want me to spoil it for you and tell you how the one thing in the movie that furthers the Phase 4?
Yeah, so it sets up something.
Yeah. So you didn't see Falcon Winter Soldier, right? No. Okay. There's a character who gets introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and she's only in that show. Okay. And funny enough, she's actually played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Interesting.
Her name is Contessa Val something to something to something.
That's
very long name, but people call her Val.
Yeah.
And there's like reports that they're kind of setting her up to be Madame Hydra, which in the comics she's just kind of like a very female, like dictator, bad villain kind of character. Mm-hmm. And in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she recruits kind of like a character to work for her.
Interesting.
But she's very very secretive. She doesn't really tell him what he's going to be doing.
Oh, so
she's very under the radar character type thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And in the final post-credit scene of Black Widow, it's actually kind of cool because it takes place present day. So her sister's actually visiting Natasha's grave, where she's quote unquote buried, even though she's technically on a alien planet somewhere.
But she's dead.
Yeah, she's dead. So she's visiting the grave and she's tending to the gravestone. And while she's like looking at it, she hears Val next to her. And Val talks to her, and it's basically in a matter of like 2 sentences, it's shown that she's working for Val. So now she's also gotten the guy from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but now she has her sister.
So she's like building an army
type of thing.
Oh, that's cool. I like
and then
that.
At the end of that, she tells her if she wants to take a shot at the man responsible for her sister's death, Natasha's death.
Yeah.
And she shows her a picture of Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So it's essentially she's gonna be like hunting Hawkeye down.
That's pretty cool.
In Hawkeye's show.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's a really cool.
Which
crossover.
is slated for the end of the year.
Yeah.
So and it was
they're really just making everything.
Right.
They're just like here.
Which is a whole other thing. Like they had already said a while back that Florence Pugh, her character was gonna be in Hawkeye, but they never said like how it would tie in.
And now we know.
It's pretty fair to assume
they made a whole movie to tie it in.
Yeah, right.
A little for a post-credit scene. They made a whole movie just for it.
Yeah, man, totally.
Oh god.
And then that show's supposed to be about him like passing the baton over to his protege, which is gonna be there's gonna be a new female Hawkeye, so he's finally like getting rid of the role now too. Yeah. So
Hawkeye-iris.
Yeah. Hawkeye. Oh, and
that's her name, bro.
The last thing to say about that too is, like you said, she's building an army, quote unquote. Yeah. I've also heard some
squad.
I've heard some rumors.
Squad goals.
You're pretty close to it.
Yeah.
There's some rumors that she's kind of building a Marvel team called the Thunderbolts, which is kind of Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad.
So it's all villains. Kind of, or like
anti-heroes, kind of
people that work for someone who's evil,
kind of something like that. Yeah, so that's kind of the
sense.
idea.
It all aligns.
So there's some ideas that she might be behind that, and that there might be something there, like some Dark Avengers stuff. Yeah. I don't know. So it's interesting stuff. But the movie, I'll give it like a solid 6 to 7. It was fun. One thing some reviewers said about it, they were like, it lacked action. I heavily disagree. I actually thought the action was pretty fucking awesome.
I mean, it's a spy movie, right?
Yeah,
so you gotta add action to it.
But
it'd just be fucking espionage.
But yeah, I also agree with the people that expect more out of it because it's the fucking M.C.U. Yeah, you gotta see some crazy shit. But yeah, that ties into
another show,
something else we watched.
Another thing.
Credit to Dylan, who binged it in how long?
Like 2 days, 3 days. Yeah, I watched like one a day, and then today I watched the final 3.
So we're obviously talking about Loki.
Yeah, it's over there.
Which season 1 wrapped last week, or rather this week last week when you're watching it.
It sure did.
And yes, there's gonna be spoilers for this as well.
Oh yes.
But stick around if you want to hear about this. But I'm just curious to know, what did you think about Loki, Dylan?
So firstly, to prepare myself for the show, watch the Thor movies, 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
You watched 2 and 3.
Yeah. To prepare myself for at least knowing about who these people are.
Why in God's earth would you watch Thor 2? Yeah. It is the worst.
I am aware. I am aware. You told me. Yes, don't watch 2. So what I did was I watched 2.
Okay.
You told me not to.
Yeah.
But yeah. A problem I have with the shows I've watched, and I don't know if Falcon Winter Soldier does this, but the first 2 shows are just like only setup, which I understand. But as a TV show and not a movie, I feel like they're making the TV show like a movie. Okay. And I don't really like that. Okay. Like the first 2 is set up, and then it's like a rising action, and then 5 and 6 is like where the big climax happens.
I get what you're saying, because you're more accustomed to seeing all of that happen in one episode.
In one sitting. And that's why I usually binge it, because it feels like that. But then it's like, 4 hours plus of whatever, and it's just like, that's a little draining.
Yeah, like I feel like the best way to like it honestly feels like the Disney Plus series are less like TV shows and more like mini series because you know you're only gonna see
because it's 6-8 episodes. It's not bad. So I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, setup a little good. You're getting the feel of the characters. Second episode, good, but there was nothing really that like drew me in. Like I honestly didn't start enjoying the show. I would say like midway through the third episode. Okay, is when I like started actually, and then 4 or 5, it's like it really ramps up. Yeah. So yeah, overall, I would say it really redeemed itself towards its end, and I don't know. I kind of doubted WandaVision. Proved me wrong. I doubted this, and I think it proved me wrong. But
so do you like WandaVision more than Loki?
Yeah,
you think it's fair to say?
Yeah. Well, WandaVision is funny. It has all the gimmicks.
What I was gonna say.
That's why I liked it mainly for the gimmicks.
It's funny because
I don't like any of the superhero stuff mainly.
I was gonna say now that the first wave of the shows are out, like now that WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki are all out, I feel like WandaVision was definitely the fan favorite. Like WandaVision was the one that everybody and their mother loved. You know what I mean? Not to mention it got like 23 Emmy nominations.
It was very good. Very good show.
I feel like Falcon Winter Soldier was definitely, it was probably the less liked out of all 3.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. So
but I'd argue it was the most action centric. So for the people who enjoy that, for the fans of the Marvel Universe, for the action part of it, I feel like that was definitely the one to watch. And then Loki was arguably the most important.
Low-key the most important.
Low-key, yeah.
I definitely know what you mean with that. I definitely know what you mean.
So for someone who doesn't know too much about the Marvel Universe or the Marvel Comics, do you have any questions about Loki, things you might not fully understand?
No, but it sets up a lot, doesn't it?
So, do you know who the guy at the end is?
No.
He Who Remains?
No, I do not. I do not know who he is, but it's like, no, I don't. Please explain.
Yes, that's why, because that's actually really big.
Okay. Because the thing is that like I don't really care about the universe enough to like. I was like I want to read about it, but like. I don't know if I care enough.
That's what Bobby's for, is so I can explain it to you, Dylan.
Nice, I'll hit mine.
Yeah. Just break everything. So anyway, for a very long time, people were speculating over who the next kind of like Thanos level villain was going to be in the Marvel Universe.
And it's him.
Okay. So people were speculating like it could be Galactus or somebody else, but one name that kept coming around was somebody named Kang the Conqueror. And in the comics, he's essentially a time traveler who conquers worlds because
XR. Sorry, we talk about that movie way too much, bro.
XR. But he's a time traveling conqueror from like the 30th century or some shit like that. In the M.C.U, they talk about how like he shared all his knowledge and research with the other variants of himself, but he alludes that there's one variant of himself who's very evil. That's Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, that's who he's talking about.
Okay.
So what's cool about the show is basically they, and when I say they, I mean like Marvel, mentioned that Kang was going to be featured in Ant-Man 3. Yes. It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania or something like that. Okay. Yeah. So they said that Kang was officially going to be in the movie.
I haven't seen those movies.
They're actually pretty good. Okay. They're like the family.
Yeah. I figured
Marvel movies
from looking at them. Yeah. They look like that.
But yeah, he was slated to be in that movie for sure. So throwing him at the end of Loki was like a super cool like curveball because it was like, whoa, we're getting him like now, or at least we're getting like a setup for him now. So it's really awesome.
And then that would work for the future too, because that would work for everything.
I mean, honestly, they set it up like it's completely set up. They killed this version of him. The timeline got completely fucked. Essentially, I don't want to make a claim this big, but essentially what they did is they made all Marvel movies canon. You know what I mean? Like every single timeline exists now.
I think I really liked that because I always liked any type of show or movie that does like a multiverse thing. Because this is my thing with sci-fi. I was breaking it down in my head. And for some reason, the superhero stuff and the power stuff, anything with powers, it loses me, usually. But when it's like futuristic, it catches my attention. And as we were talking about, this also caught my attention based on...
Do you like the Guardians movies?
Yes, but I like them more based on they're funny.
The comedic aspect.
They're very funny.
Yeah, I get that.
So very good. One of the few shows that I felt had really good banter. You know, like the conversations between characters were funny.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to just like, oh, they fell, haha, you know, or something like that, where it's like they're like, you know, because it's like in Loki, it's like I went in like thinking the banter with, like, I love a lot of the characters. I love Owen Wilson, but it's just I feel like a lot of the conversations are just to get to the next point. They don't really like allude to anything else. I feel like there could be some like deeper stuff there.
Yeah. Funny you bring up Owen Wilson too. He
like point to point usually they do.
Funny you bring him up. Agent Mobius is also one of my new favorite characters that has been introduced.
Can we somehow get Owen Wilson and Kat Dennings in the same room? Just make that work.
Yeah, right.
And I'll be a happy person.
Mobius and Darcy.
Wow. He's actually a pretty talented writer. Good for him.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah.
And he actually surprised me in this series. Like, granted, I've seen him in, like, you know, serious things before, but, like, just to see him kind of, like, pull off a I don't know how to explain it specifically, but, like, I guess a new character is really cool. Because, you know, everybody makes kind of the stereotypical, like, the wow jokes.
Yeah, the wow, or it's like, oh, sex comedy or something. But, you know, I've people who know that he's a good actor.
But, yeah, Loki Season 2 got confirmed. They will be coming back. They also recently said that the director of the first
we
season...
sitting both arms crossed. It's very intense.
Fuck you, Dylan. You always get on my case about this shit.
No, do it. Go back.
I want to.
Now we're matching.
Director of Loki, I forgot her name. I think it's Kate Herron or something like that. She's officially...
Red Herring.
No, it's not Kate Herron. It's something like that. But she's officially not coming back on
to
the show. She already had committed to other projects that she was going to do after Loki. And apparently they didn't know that they were going to do a season 2. Yeah. So, yeah.
Now they're going to replace her with you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Bobby is directing season 2.
That'd be so funny, and just someone walks right a frame and it's you. I'd just be like,
yeah, right.
Or it's someone just anyone we know personally.
Yeah, right. It's Jose. It's like, what the fuck?
Got casted.
I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, he doesn't even do this.
He doesn't even act.
It's messed up.
But yeah, overall I liked it, but I would say WandaVision would be the only one I like really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, WandaVision was great.
And I don't want to watch Falcon Winter Soldier unless I'm like really on an action kick. As you said, it's good with action scenes. Yeah. So I would do that then.
Falcon Winter Soldier was I think it wasn't bad. Like the thing is like people give it a bad rep.
I mean, for MCU though, not bad is like...
No, and I don't even think it was, honestly speaking, I think it was better than Black Widow, but I think it's just more so that, you know, like I said earlier, you compare it to things like WandaVision and Loki,
any of the big movies,
where literally in one some guy is literally fighting for an agency that controls the flow of time.
Yeah, like the time. Yeah. Multiverse.
And then in the other one, you have a woman that created a whole town with reality shifting powers who made a family. You know, like and then you have this one with Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan who fight bad guys and figure out who the next Captain America is going to be. Like that's essentially what the show is about. Yeah. But
I mean, they should have set it up as like a reality show.
One thing I'll give it to, yeah, right.
Like it's like Bachelorette.
Like it's like Anthony Mackie in the camera and he's like, I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah. Or it's just like you get a rose. God damn, this motherfucker gets a rose before me. I want to be Captain America.
Like that's how they pick.
Yeah.
It's like Bachelor.
And there's like challenges in between to see who's the most American.
Got you.
Yeah. Captain America.
No, the one thing I was gonna say that was pretty cool about Falcon Winter Soldier is it's not the only show or piece of MCU like media that's come out since Endgame, but it is one of the ones that heavily focuses on like what life is like after the blip. You know, what life is like after half the world went away and came back. Yeah, which I think is cool because that's obviously something you can't forget. Like that was
that's the pivotal part in everything.
Yeah, and but I like the way that it's still like rippling stuff to this day. Like it's not just
it should forever.
It's not just the superheroes fighting the bad guys. It's also like, you know, there's people who are different because life completely changed over the course of like 4 years.
Yeah,
you know, it's so
time has passed.
Yeah. And even like it wasn't in Falcon Winter Soldier, but just like there's that one scene in WandaVision where you see Monica Rambeau in the hospital like come back from the blip and everybody's coming back. Like that was sick because despite like maybe 2 little cutaway clips from Spider-Man, that was the first time we ever got
in a hospital
serious
scene too. Like it was really
like in
cool.
a serious tone. It was like really cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to be like everybody's back, but it's another thing to show you when it happens, and
that's always better. I hate when like movies or TV shows will talk about something happening, but they don't show it. They're like, damn, it was crazy when the aliens came and took everybody and blew up 18 houses specifically on this block. It's like, of course you didn't show it. This is like a low budget movie, but like, bro, like, don't fucking do that shit. I hate that. Or it's like, damn, I can't. And it was this when this person died. How crazy. And it's like, but they don't show anything about the person's death. Like, all right, cool, thanks. Thanks for telling us.
Yeah, man.
Overall, though, like, you know.
But yeah, I loved Loki a lot.
What other shows are coming out now? What's like the next wave?
For Marvel?
Yeah, what's like the next part?
So I don't know when, but the next one technically is a show called What If, which is interesting. It's not really canon to the... Well, it is canon because it features the characters and the stories that are in the MCU.
Okay.
But it's an animated series that twists them. So, like, every episode is every episode is like a new storyline from the Marvel Universe, but with a big twist.
Okay, I like that.
So one of them is is Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's what if Yondu came to Earth but didn't take Peter Quill, Chris Pratt. It's what if he came to Earth and he took T'Challa. So instead of T'Challa being Black Panther, he's Star-Lord.
That's cool.
So he's a Ravager.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's really interesting.
There's another one where, the first Iron Man movie when where Tony Stark is in the Humvee and he gets injured, which is, when he gets captured and he has to put shit in his chest. The chest. It's instead of that happening, he gets saved by Killmonger, the bad guy from Black Panther. So he saves him, and that completely changes.
A lot of Black Panther tie-ins.
There's another one, not Black Panther, but there's another one where instead of Steve Rogers getting the super soldier serum, they give it to Peggy Carter, a British girl.
Oh, okay.
So she becomes Captain Britain. She's like a female super soldier. Yeah. So it's like all different stuff like that. So it's an animated stuff, but past that, towards the end of the year, I think we're supposed to get Hawkeye and Miss Marvel.
Okay.
And then next year it's like She-Hulk, Moon Knight,
PP.
I don't know if there's anything else specifically, but I know that
Crimson Chin.
I know that next year for the Christmas they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
That sounds like it should have existed already.
I know, but that sounds great. Yeah. I don't know if it's
gonna. No, it sounds amazing. It sounds incredible.
I want it to be like a full holiday special. Like I think it'd be hilarious if they bring on like other MCU characters.
Oh, they bring it. They should. I think they should bring in like any comedic relief they have possible. Yeah. They bring on everybody.
Like every funny.
They bring in Thor. They bring Deadpool. Yeah, of course.
Like that's where he joins. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Bring in anyone that can crack a joke and have it be funny.
Yeah, but that'd be really cool. So those are the next shows slated. I'm pretty excited for a couple of them, and yeah, I'm more excited for the movies though, like Shang-Chi and the Eternals. That's
I don't speak Chinese.
Spider-Man. Ooh. Not to continue on a Marvel tangent. Don't worry, we're gonna shift soon. But I was gonna say there's some cool stuff with Spider-Man too, for Spider-Man No Way Home, the third one that's coming out, because obviously there's all this stuff about how people are speculating if the other Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, are going to be in it and all that multiverse stuff. Garfelf. And but there's some pretty cool leaks that apparently due to a toy line, and it's not just an action figure line, it's also like Funko Pops.
There's a lot on the line.
Yeah, a lot on the line. You're annoying.
I'm mad funny, bro. I'm low key really funny. Like
I don't gonna fucking continue.
I don't understand what the problem is.
I can just sit here and marvel at this.
Yeah, honestly. Wow, that was pretty good.
Anyway, I
have more, bro.
Anyway, there's a line of toys that basically speculate that in Spider-Man is actually gonna learn magic from Doctor Strange, which is kind of cool. I know it's like it's a lot, but I think it's cool.
I mean, it's really
like I don't think Spider-Man is gonna
dad. You know, like they're gonna do some fucking crazy. He's fucking some crazy shit, and it goes missing. You're just like, what the fuck, bro?
Oh my god!
Damn, bro, he's like, I'm gonna make my web disappear.
No, there's toys and product lines of Spider-Man using like the spells that Doctor Strange uses, like the arcs and stuff like that, the Arcana. So that's pretty cool. Even if it's just for like that movie, like he just knows it for that.
I'm just imagining Sigma.
Sigma
from Overwatch.
Why?
I don't know, just like doing some like Earth shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
lifting people in the air with powers and magic.
So it'd be cool to see Spider-Man with some magic. And no, that's with the power of science, Dylan. There's no magic in Overwatch. Come on. Maybe the Hanzo has some magic. The dragon.
Bro, there's pretty magical shit happen.
There's some the game is magical.
The game has some magical shit.
Are you still the god at Overwatch?
No, I'm waiting for Overwatch 2. I'm gonna save all my god power for that. Yeah, it was really fun though. Like when crossplay first came out, where you play every game mode, everyone just decided to be friends.
Yeah.
Like people would just add me as a friend, and I'm like, oh.
Not the games I played.
I'll be
your friend. A lot of animosity in
those games. There's a lot of throwing. Like I would say about half the games, either one person on my team throws or the other person throws. But that's what happens when the game's like 4 years old. People don't give a fuck. It happens.
I love when people get mad enough to send you messages.
Yeah, like I know people block that, but I love seeing that shit. I love seeing that, and it's like I'm the bad one. Yeah, I'm the bad one.
It was funny because who was it that brought it up in the chat? Oh, Joey was playing Warzone with his cousin in Florida, and he brought up the whole like in Warzone when you kill somebody.
In Call of Duty always.
Yeah, and like but when you kill somebody for like a slight 2 seconds, you actually get to hear their comms, like what they're saying. Yeah. And most of the time, it's usually like fuck, fuck you, right? So shit like that. Other times, it's usually some guy like he's up here, like, you know what I mean? But Joey brought it up and he was like, I love that feature. They should bring it to more games. And I was like, bro, if that was an Overwatch, people would die. Like, that is already such a rage-inducive game, comms aside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty chill with it now just because it throwing is so often that it's just you kind of expect it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't expect to have a good game. So you kind of just go in like, I'm going to try my best.
Dude, there was a time where Dylan, me, and Jerry would play Overwatch. And, like, if we lost 2 games in a row, that was it. We wouldn't see Dylan for a day. It would be out. No goodbye, no nothing. That was it.
I would literally unplug my PS4 and then move on. I would watch YouTube. I'd grab a meal to eat.
Yep. And me and Jerry would just be like, okay, cool. And got to play with Dylan for 10 minutes.
And I'd be like...
Zen mode.
Okay, time to eat a sandwich. You know, like some crazy shit. Good times, though. It's still a fun game.
Remember when Dylan yelled at me for trying to tell him how to play his character?
And don't tell him. You don't tell me how to play my character.
Bro, all I did was because I never knew that if you bumped Mercy in the middle of her res, that it stopped the res.
Yeah.
So I told Dylan, I was like, yo, did you know that? You were like, yeah. So then I remember I saw Mercy resing, and I was like, go for the bump. And I guess you couldn't make it in time or whatever. And then you're just like, don't tell me how to play my fucking character. And then you left, and me and Jerry were like, yo, what are we didn't do
Don't, bro. I mean, I was carrying that whole game. I remember exactly what game that was, too. Like, it's what I don't, like the reason why I shut my game off is because I don't want it to be a big thing. Yeah. I don't want to be mad at it. So if I shut off
that's when you have to.
Yeah. If I shut off, like, that's the thing. If I shut off the game and do something else.
Like, if you're still playing a game that's getting you visibly upset and you're not, like, a pro gamer or a streamer,
if there's nothing to stop. If there's nothing on the line, there's some issues. Like, there's literally, it's a game.
There's a lot more to do, you know what I mean?
It's about, like, you want to try your hardest. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun to do that.
It's supposed to be fun.
It's fun to
And it's one thing to be upset, but still be like, fuck, I know what I did wrong.
But that was a good game. Yeah, well, I'll focus on this, and then we'll win the next
But if you're straight up like, fuck this, everybody's an asshole, it's like, okay.
Yeah, you have
Go ride a bike. Yeah. Go.
There was one I saw, and it was like, go outside, sit in the sun, eating a banana. It was like some dude was like, my mom texted me this.
Pretty specific.
And she was like, she was like, why don't you go outside and eat a banana slowly? Like, yeah, that's a vibe for sure.
Oh man, speaking of going outside, I went outside for like one of the first times. Let me specify on that.
What the fuck does that mean? I go outside all the time.
It'll make sense in a fucking second, Dylan.
Doesn't make any sense. You are on vacation for a week. Doesn't make any sense.
It's gonna make sense, Dylan. Okay? Do you understand? Do you understand? You shut up for a minute.
I'm stubborn.
All right.
I'm as stubborn as a mule.
I'm getting to it, obviously. I'm starting it off with a hook. If I just said what I was going to say, people would be like, whatever. But I said something like, people are like, Bobby, you can go outside.
Everyone's sitting at their thing like...
I hate you, Dylan, sometimes. I hate you sometimes.
Go ahead.
I don't even want to tell the story.
All right, now that's a little crazy.
We went to go visit my cousin who lives in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
But he lives like a very, like... It makes it sound like he's Amish or something like that. I'm just saying, like, he lives in like a neighborhood. It's different from living in New York City and Queens. Like, you have property. He has a big backyard. He's got bikes. He's got a basketball hoop. He has his shit. So for like a whole day, I was actually like physically playing sports and like out and about riding bikes.
Oh, dude, like active.
I was playing basketball. Me too. I was climbing trees. He has like the Bob sparring partners. We were like actually boxing. I went home like dead tired because like he was playing with his kids and stuff like that.
Car nap?
Oh, for sure, yeah. The AC on, so I'm like freezing a little bit, but it was great.
No, it's in a good way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. I've been working out and I've been like running on the boardwalk and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I feel
that's kind of a vibe. Mm-hmm. So everybody can see you do it.
Tell them, hey, look at me. I'm getting in shape, and you're gonna know I'm in shape.
That's one thing I noticed in Florida. I was like, I hate running, but I think it's also because of just like where I am. Like if I was at somewhere where I could go for a run and actually like enjoy my surroundings, it'd be different. But like going for a run around here, it's like what, you just run to the bodega, and then you run to the supermarket.
You're running through people's houses.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're like doing gardening, and
exactly.
You're just, like,
it's not.
You gotta like run in the bike lane, and cars are running you over.
It's not like you're like in a suburb where you're like running in trees. It's not like you're at the beach where you're.
I'm gonna go to this
water.
park. I'm gonna go to that park. You're literally there's just houses everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like that's definitely a thing in the future. If I live anywhere else in New York, I want to live somewhere where I could like go to like a park, like you live near like Central Park or like Prospect Park or.
I live near a park, but I never use it.
I mean,
I used to work at that park.
Yeah, I mean Joey lives more like on the park, which is why he's dying every like time you see him.
Yeah,
he's just fucking
because he like lives in a tree practically.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
Man, I forgot I worked at that park. I was thinking about that the other day too.
Oh, I think all of us, like, I feel like a lot of people, they have a different collection of jobs that they do, and none of them relate to each other. Like, you just build skills out of. You have to.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily always.
It was so funny. Yeah, it was funny because like I worked that was a summer job.
Yeah.
I worked one summer job for the parks department, but in that. What was it, like maybe an 8-week span? I actually ended up working like 3 separate jobs. It was insane. Mm-hmm. My initial job there was we were supposed to clean trails. So I had the park that I worked for had like 2 or 3 big walking trails. Yeah. And they give you this whole debriefing about how there's this thing called like invasive species. And they're like the species of plant that grow on top.
I know a lot about invasive species.
They grow on the plants that are supposed to be there. Yeah. So our job was we were supposed to be able to identify the invasive species and clear them out.
Did you get poison ivy?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
But
you did your job well.
I have no fucking idea what an invasive species is, though.
Wow.
Despite the fact that I worked that job, I just kind of waited for my boss to be like that, and I'd be like, cool.
And then you rip it off, yeah.
But one day, like 3 or 4 weeks in, some hotshot from the Environmental Protection Agency came.
Oh, as someone who has had direct correspondence with the EPA over the past year, EPA people have some big fucking balls, bro.
Oh, I think
they really take their shit
considering
seriously.
Where I'm going in the story.
It's like they literally are like hard at if you don't care enough, they won't hire you. You're like, no, you have to care way too much. You have to love this ecology,
you have to be ready
bro.
To protect this fucking environment.
You have to breathe ecology, bro.
So this hotshot from the Environmental Protection Agency comes. Yeah. He comes like in the EPA like t-shirt with the shorts and everything. Mm-hmm. And he basically told us that we were going to separate and it was going to be like a more intensive day or whatever. But the whole big rule that we had like on the job was you weren't supposed to leave the trails.
Okay.
And it wasn't really, I mean, it obviously was like not to get lost and stuff like that, but it was more so it was just like
get lost. It's not that big.
But you're only supposed to deal with what's on the trail essentially, because you don't know what's going on in the other parts of the non-trail park. You know what I mean? So we split up, and I was with a group with like 2 other guys and this guy, and he takes us to a part of the trail. And he's like, "We're gonna go off trail." And we're immediately like, they told us da-da-da, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm in the Environmental Protection Agency." Yeah. Kind of that shit, you know what I mean? So we were like, all right, Mr. EPA.
Big balls, I told you, bro.
Right.
Big testicles on
these
people.
We go off the trail, maybe a few feet off, and he shows us a tree. And he's like, "Oh, you see this? This is blah, blah, blah ivy, and it grows over this."
Yeah, poison ivy.
And it wasn't poison. It was
another one. Yeah,
and it was just like some vine shit. But he was explaining to us that it's an invasive species, and that it shouldn't be on the tree because that has like a whole thing that
it restricts
there.
it, and then and then
so he's like, we're gonna clear this out. He yanks it, huge beehive. Bees just start attacking the shit out of us. So people used to make fun of me at this job. Keep in mind I was like 14 and fat, but people used to make fun of me because, you know, Chubby Bobby,
a given.
Chubby Bobby was wearing jeans in like 100-degree weather in midsummer, and
you're running from a bee's nest.
Yeah. So they would make fun of me, but guess who didn't get stung? Mr. Jeans, and everybody else's legs got like destroyed, stung. I actually didn't get stung, but after the bees started to come out, immediately the guy was like, get away, get back to the trail. So we all like started running, and we were like a little bit downhill, so we had to run uphill. Yeah. And as I was running, my foot got stuck underneath a branch and actually like twisted, and I like seriously sprained my ankle.
Yeah, I remember when you I think I remember seeing you. Wait, did I know you then?
Yeah.
I remember when you hurt your ankle.
It's like freshman in high school.
Yeah, I remember when you hurt it.
So I got hurt, and after that, instead of like, you know, like them letting me go or whatever, I guess it was because it was part of like the summer thing. They technically still had to employ me. They just had me be a janitor.
Yeah.
So even with like a fucked up foot, I just had to like hobble around and like sweep floors, wipe windows and shit like that.
Nice. Robert.
So I did that for a while.
Those vibes are hysterical. Yeah. Like you're just like in the lobby or wherever, like the place, and you see you.
No, you know what's mad funny about that? It was funny because like you start with a group of people. It was like a group of like 7 of us.
And they all dropped out.
And it was technically like 8.
Okay.
And then like after the first week, 2 dropped out. So then it was like 6.
That's me.
And then like maybe after another week, like another. It ended up being like 5 of us at the end of it.
Yeah.
But what was funny is after I got hurt, I was immediately separated from them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another thing that was interesting is they were all way older than me. I was like 14, and then they were all like 17, 18 years old.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, weird. But anyway,
I mean, most people don't work when they're 14.
Yeah. But there was actually a cool guy. I forgot his name. I have him on Facebook. But he, despite the fact that he was like 18, he liked me a lot. So we would hang out. He'd have like lunch together and shit like that. He was mad cool.
Mm-hmm.
But even since I got hurt and I was like away from that group, I had to like hang out with like the janitorial staff.
Oh, wow.
And like the office people that like work in the building part of the park. Yeah. So I got close to like the janitor woman, and we were just, she was like a 30, 40-year-old woman. She was like showing me the ropes of like mopping the floors and using like the wax machine and shit.
Bro, I know how to use all of that shit.
I was like, all right, cool.
At my elevator gig, I worked for a janitorial company.
Oh, lit.
So that's what the company was for. So I know how to do all the floor waxing, cleaning carpets, all that shit. I had to learn
that shit too.
Yeah. You did it with you did it with battle scars.
Yeah. I did it hobbling along. And then the last week of that job, I didn't work as a janitor or cleaning up trails. While my team of workers were still cleaning the trails, I did trail surveys, which really just meant I stood in front of a trail entrance for 2 hours while I asked people if they wanted to do a survey, and 90% of them were like, nah. And I was like, cool. And then
I thought you meant like surveyor, you know?
No,
like
surveyed the land. I had like a bunch of papers, and I had to like sit there and be like, do you use the trails? And then immediately they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, all right, no problem. And then they'd leave. But then I'd always have like one like old woman who you can tell like that's all she does. Like she just walks that trail. So then she comes and she's like, yes, I actually have a lot of things I've got to say. And I'm like, cool. And she's just like, right. And then she gets mad, and I'm like, ma'am, you have to understand, I have no direct influence to this.
Yeah.
What you're telling me right now, I'm going to give this to somebody, and
never
that person is going to deal with this shit.
Yeah,
I understand your passion for how you want this trail to be different, ma'am, but I can't change it right now. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's very stressful.
Yeah. Like, one of my favorite things about my past job is that I didn't really have like someone like a boss. Technically, I did.
Yeah.
But customer service goes way out the window. There is no at my elevator gig, there was no customer service, and then at the last job I worked, it was private, so there was no need for customer service.
Interesting.
And like people would ask me stuff, and I would literally just be like, no. Or I'd just be like, leave.
What?
Good vibes. Because on one day a week, I was a security person. So I'd just be like, oh.
You did security one day a week?
Oh, more than that a lot of times. Because like, people would be out.
Because you're threatening as fuck, right?
Yeah. And by security is you stand there and you talk to the people as they walk in and out. And then you look at the camera and you go,
no, they're good.
What's this guy doing now? 6. He's good. Yeah. So anyways.
What was I going to say? Oh, before we get into Jam Yam territory, I was going to ask, how was the concert last night?
Oh, yeah. So I went to a concert in Brooklyn yesterday.
And that was your first concert post-COVID?
Yes.
Lit.
First one probably since like 2019.
And that's big for you because you and Joey are definitely the concert goers in the group.
Yeah. So right away, I know the size of this person's fan base. I already know it's going to be a small concert. So I walk in. It's essentially.
And what's the name? You can say it. Go ahead.
What?
What's the person's name?
Cyber.
Shout out to Cyber.
Yeah, or Cyber.
Or Cyber.
Yeah, you say it quick. And all of his guys on his like label, right? So it's like 3 other rappers and then him.
Yeah.
And I knew going in, I was like, all right, so this is the basement of it's like a residential area, but this is like a club concert venue. I'm like, what? It's probably someone's basement, right? Sure enough, it's like those like row houses, but they kind of look like brownstones, like the 3-story Brooklyn house. You know what I'm talking about. And it's just that, and then you go down the basement stairs, walk in, pool table, DJ set, seats, couches, everything, right? Go in, they make food. They have their own drinks that they make. All of their drinks are like solo cups.
It's kind of a
COVID.
vibe,
yeah. And it's like mad because it's like, I almost feels like a speakeasy almost.
Yeah.
Like the guy at the door.
Like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And it's like, this is like a residential area.
This is an unlicensed business.
Fucking 120 degrees. I wore like a black shirt, like, and my logic was like, oh, it's not gonna be sunny. I don't have to worry about like wearing a black shirt. That shit was so hot. I was like, at the whole place, and then they're like, oh, we're just setting up everything outside. And it was a vibe. I mean, at one point we were just I believe it was like basically like a DJ was there for like an hour, and then one guy would go on DJ set, one guy would go on 10-minute DJ set, etc. So like to warm the people up. And I just look over, I look at my phone, I look up, and all of the artists are just there. Like, I didn't see them walk in. I'm right next to the stairs because it's like a basement, and then you walk up, and it's like the backyard area. And I was right there, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why the fuck did they come?
That's them.
Yeah. And everyone was like, yeah. And then another part, and I was just like sitting next to the artists. And that was another cool thing is that at one point, everyone left. But they still hung out.
So you got to hang out with them? Yeah,
I literally hung out with all of the rappers and the producers and people who worked at the bar. They were all like, "Oh, we just hang out here too." Like
they were like, "Bro, I have a podcast."
Yeah, there was like regulars too. Like there was people that like didn't come for the concert. They just like they know about the bar
the place,
and they know about there and go there. And like the crowd completely changed and it like came into like a club. I was like, "What the fuck happened here?" A lot of like edgy people too. Like there was one guy that just had on his stomach tattooed "I want to kill myself," and I'm like, okay,
Jesus,
okay, good,
pretty damn direct.
Good start, bro. But yeah, overall very fun concert. They definitely got noise complaints for being in a residential area. But yeah, really good, really exciting.
Fire.
Weird. I would definitely do it again. Like I'd go to the place just cause.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to my first concert back.
Yeah, and I was looking. Concerts are expensive because everyone wants to go. So I was looking at some. I'm like, geez, you would pay that much? Like, I cannot. Speaking of music though.
Yeah. Right? Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that yawn. That was super professional. I was trying to fight that one. But
I mean, Bob, really, like, you just got to get... I mean, I'm on, like, 3 hours of sleep.
It's not even that late. It's like, we did this relatively early for what we usually do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, at least I came here early.
So I told Dylan I have a slight issue in the fact that... or in the sense that I have
super unprofessional. I shouldn't have done that.
Right. I have so many possible jams.
Yeah, I already know mine.
To put it in...
I'll go first, right?
Yeah, go for it while I make up between 2.
Yeah, okay. So you have 2? I thought you had more.
No, I have, no joke, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to pick from.
Good.
But I have 2 that I'm pretty...
I didn't add any of mine to the yams, but there's about 50 new yams. I just haven't added them to the playlist yet. I want to choose like what I like and what I don't like. So my yam of the week is Late Night by 4x4.
Cool.
I played it when we hung out here on, what was it, Thursday? Yeah, and I played it, and essentially how the first part of the... By the way, he has no other music. He just has this one album with 10 songs on it. And the first 3 songs, how they work is that the first half of the song is slightly sped up, and then at one point the beat drops or transitions, and then it goes into a slightly slower version, which is regular speed.
Interesting.
And so then it's like a complete, and then the beat slows down, and then you hear like the samples and the instrumental. It's really good.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I wish he did it. I wish he kept the gimmick throughout, but then that would have made like that album would have been an hour and 10 minutes, because you're basically repeating the same part twice, and then adding maybe one extra layer, and then that's it. But yeah, great song, and I have no idea who he is, so I should do some research on like who's this random ass man who has one album and that's it.
Fire! I gotta check that out. Yeah. Well, we'll play it right.
Yeah,
after
we'll play right after this. Yeah.
My jam is gonna be "Are You With That" from Vince Staples.
Oh, off his Vince is a legend. Vince is good.
It's a vibe. The music video is equally just as awesome. I've been jamming to it. I had a lot of options to pick from, but that one just is the most vibiest for me. So
Vince vibes hard.
Definitely,
for sure.
He's also funny as shit.
Oh yeah, the cave.
Yep.
Yeah.
On a day, homie. So anyway, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, that was a really cool episode.
Yeah,
we talked about what we wanted to talk about.
For sure, on task. Briefly talking about it, we have some big stuff for the future, specifically like the next 2 weeks or so. We touched on it at the beginning of the episode. We're nearing that 1 year mark.
Yeah.
So we've got some fun stuff.
Huge plans in general, honestly.
Yeah. New shows coming out.
Yeah.
Just new programming.
A good way to put it would be a block.
Yeah. Just getting to work. Phase 2, if I may.
Yeah.
So
I mean, phase 1 was just the podcast and taking our feet, right, putting in the water,
dipping the toes.
It's cold, but hey, after a while, it's warm.
But all your fan favorite shows, and by fan I mean like those 40 people who like us. Thank you. We're diving in. Get ready, because they're coming back in full force. We got some new stuff, some new spins on them. So yeah, we're super excited to show you guys that. And honestly speaking, you'll probably get a closer, deeper, in-depth look closer to the 1 year episode. So,
binoculars.
Focusing on that.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Make sure to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, all that fancy pants stuff. Definitely click the bell this time around so you can stay up to date on everything new.
There's someone who hasn't. They're like, fuck that, I'm not clicking the bell.
Yeah, right.
And they heard you right now.
Now they're like,
you know what? They're right.
I'm gonna click that bell.
I'm gonna click that bell, and I'm gonna get a notification. I'm gonna watch that later.
And that's pretty much fucking it.
Yeah. What should people comment?
That's your job, homie.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone comment your own jam or yam.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting.
We haven't done that yet. Yeah. So everyone write your song suggestions.
What's your song suggestion? And then you have to tell us if you think it's a jam or a yam.
Yeah.
Boom.
Whose vibe would it fit?
Yeah. I like that a lot. So how do we end this?